Well, hello, one and all. This is Liz Grace Christie. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Galactic Mythology. I'm here to report on the weekend of May 2nd through May 5th, 2025. This weekend goddess report, I'm going to do my best to keep it short. It's a very busy week for me, and since I record these early, I'm finding myself short on time with the schedule at hand for me on this Wednesday. I'm recording on April 30th, 2025, and later today I will be DJing for Mount Tabor Dance, a weekly dance in the spring and summer hosted on Wednesday evenings. This week they are at the White Owl Social Club here in Portland, Oregon. I'm DJing at 7:10 p.m. through 8:20 p.m. It's a 75-minute long set. They booked me only about 4 days ago. My DJ name is Mazes. I have another DJ gig on May 9th at the Den in Portland, Oregon. I am opening up for the legend Ghetto Blaster. If you are not from Northern California, then you might not really think he's much of a legend like I do. I grew up in the Central Coast. I'm not a NorCal girl, but I am a Central Coast gal, so I was close enough in proximity to know who Ghetto Blaster was in the early 2000s. And now it's 2025, and I'm so excited to be opening up for him. And also J Flip, a legend on the decks. I don't have much of an internet presence outside of my Instagram, which is at Mazes, Mazez 444. So Mazes followed by the number 4 3 times, Mazes 444. I really like Z's, if you can't tell. I spell my name Liz with 2 Z's, so my DJ name naturally had to have 2 Z's as well. Mazes, Mazez. All right, we're moving on. I'm trying to keep this report short because of the short notice I got for this DJ gig with Mount Tabor, which is essentially a group of volunteers who throw a party on a mountain/extinct volcano known as Mount Tabor Park for us Portlandians. Every Wednesday in the spring and summer when the permits of the public park known as Mount Tabor are allowed, because we used to have renegade parties up there every week on Wednesday, but the neighborhood surrounding Mount Tabor was a little fed up after about 3 years of weekly parties during spring and summer. So this collective, Mount Tabor, which is essentially run by a bunch of volunteers, was formed to make things legal, make things more conducive with the city, and to allow there to be a continuation of this dance so it wouldn't just flat out get canceled. They're doing a good job and they're doing the best they can, but yes, they did book me about 4 days ago. So this really put some restraints on what I have going on for you this weekend, because my schedule this week is crazy. I have Mount Tabor Dance to DJ today, but I'm also hosting Flow Night at Jaja PDX, which is another weekly event that goes year round, where the flow and movement community comes to Jaja PDX, an art collective that I have been working with since 2021. And we open up our doors to the community every week, and people come in and they share their skills. They get better at their arts, such as their movement art, their movement with props, such as hula hoops, juggling, poi, staff, you name it. Flow stars are out there. I basically work for a circus, I know. And today, Wednesday, is my peak circus day. It's quite a show every Wednesday for me in Portland, Oregon, because Portland really likes to turn up on Wednesdays. And one thing I've noticed is that other countries like to turn up. When I was in Berlin last summer in 2024, there were activities going on similar to what I experienced in Portland, Oregon, but in the lens of Berlin club life carrying on. That is a responsibility that I have been doing for quite some time, and I'm somewhat irreplaceable, or at least I'm irreplaceable at this short notice. So I'm showing up early today to set up Flow Night at Jaja PDX. I'm gonna run over to my set at White Owl Social Club. Once I'm done setting up at Jaja PDX, my call time at White Owl Social Club for Mount Tabor Dance is 6:30 p.m. Jaja PDX doors, they open at 7 p.m. I'm praying that everything will go off without a hitch, because all the planets are direct today, and all the planets will be direct until Sunday, which is when Pluto, I know, a debatable planet, but in modern astrology, the astrology I study, it is a planet. And Pluto will be stationing direct on Sunday, May 4th, around 8:27 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and within the 3rd degree of the sign of Aquarius, 3 degrees 49 minutes to be exact. This station retrograde planet Pluto will be in a separating opposition to the planet Mars over there in Leo. And I'm finding that this 3-degree/4 degree spot of the sign of Aquarius to be somewhat of a sore wound zone for us. And I will explore that notion by turning to the channeler and astrologer John Sandbach. He wrote a book a number of years ago called The Circular Temple, a study of the 360 degree of the zodiac. John Sandbach basically created his own system of symbols similar to the Sabian symbols written by another astrologer whose name is escaping me right now. But just look up the Sabian symbols, his name will be right there. John Sandbach created the Circular Temple, and today I would like to read the 4th degree of Aquarius, because when we use symbol systems, we round up, and considering that the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is at 3 degrees 49 minutes, we are going to read the 4th degree of John Sandbach's channeled symbol, a written symbol, and I feel like it really gives us some good information and a little bit of hope, but it doesn't detract from the heaviness of right now. And it's heavy because we are being faced with an opportunity to really grow to our highest timeline, to our highest abilities. We can change our habits right now. And I feel this so strongly because we are experiencing a direct trine at 26 degrees from asteroid goddess Juno in Scorpio to the lunar north node in Pisces, all about spirituality, all about what we cannot see, what is beyond us. Juno is commitments, it is honor, and with Juno trining that north node of fate, of our future, she is also naturally sextiling the lunar south node in Virgo. And the lunar south node represents our past, what we are comfortable with, habits that are reflexive, that are so burrowed as a path in our brain that they almost seem out of our control. The South Node can be akin to our subconscious, things that we carry forward from past lives that are not so visible on the surface. And Virgo is all about the mundane. It's all about the things that we do every day that lead us to that higher reality. People who keep up with their laundry, who exercise, who explore healthy habits, have a higher proximity and relationship with the divine, typically. I like to think of Virgo as the church, and when the people go to church and they sing in the chorus, it doesn't even matter if you are non-religious or skeptical at that point. If you go and witness a church choir in its full harmony, you will see a glimpse of the divine. And that is what I'm trying to say. We have the ability to really rewire our habits, not just this weekend, but at least for the rest of this year, and really especially when Pluto is retrograde. Pluto was stationed direct around October 11th, 2025. So we have about 5 months to reprogram our subconscious, to redefine our commitments, and to respect the process. We cannot rush any of this. We also have Venus at that 0 degree point of Aries, and she will be conjunct Neptune throughout the weekend. Venus is soothing us. As much as she's on fire in Aries, I'm imagining her almost like aloe vera on a sunburn. She might be topical, but she is caring. And maybe that's what we need this weekend. Maybe you should go out and show humanity that you are one with it. Because if you're a human being listening to me through ears in a fleshy body, we are all one. And that is what Pisces is about. That lunar north node is also conjunct Saturn. And Saturn, remember what I said last week? Saturn really does want us to be successful. So does Virgo. Saturn and Virgo get along in my book. So let's try to make amends with the friction and let's step up to the highest version of ourselves. Stop looking so much outside of yourself and start looking more inside, and start being grateful for the people, the housing, the sunshine, the reality and gift that this human experience is. You were born here to experience everything that you are experiencing. The ups, the downs, the neutrals, all in an effort to get to that higher path. And one thing that I cannot get over, the start of this weekend, May 2nd, 2025, at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I'm reporting in Portland, Oregon, the moon will be conjunct the fixed star Sirius in Cancer. Sirius is our sister star. Esoterically, Sirius is also linked to the goddess Isis, the rainbow-winged goddess, a goddess who is akin to Venus and in some ways akin to Inanna. Don't be afraid to dive into the underworld like our sisters Inanna, Isis, Persephone. Persephone is at the first degree of Pisces this weekend. She's not making really any sort of significant aspect to any planets in our solar system. Asteroid goddess Hecate at the 6th degree of Scorpio is making a trine to Persephone, and Hecate guided Persephone out of the underworld as she was leaving to meet up with her mother Siris with the mortals to regain spring. The symbolism of rebirth is still with us, and it will continue to be with us for the rest of the year. It's not going to be something that goes away. And one thing I noticed is that Hecate, Vesta, and Juno, and then Black Moon Lilith, are going to be hanging out with each other in the sign of Scorpio starting May 11th through October 11th, when Pluto stations direct within the first degree of the sign of Aquarius. But I'm going to save that for another podcast in the future. I'm going to go ahead and read this channeled written symbol from John Sandbach in his book, The Circular Temple. John Sandbach channeled a series of symbols in this book, and the symbol I'm going to read is the Chandra symbol, and the title for the Chandra symbol, Many Fireflies at Dusk. The dark may be vast and engulfing, but the light is always there to help us let go of doubt and uncertainty, and know we have the power to overcome any and all challenges. You are about little, seemingly insignificant things serving as lights, and more importantly, about the way our light calls to the light of others, creating mutual enchantment and encouragement, and thereby helping us to always remember who we really are. Woo-wee! John Sandbach. That is the Chandra symbol for the 4th degree of Aquarius. I read that from the Circular Temple, a study of the 360 degree of the zodiac. John Sandbach channeled a series of multiple written symbols in this book. I read you the Chandra symbol, but he also has an Azoth symbol, a Pleiadian symbol, and a Omega symbol for every single sign of the zodiac. He's a boss. This book I find to be extremely helpful, very insightful, and I'm really grateful to Adam Somner, who used to have a podcast titled Holes to Heaven. I don't remember what his new podcast title, I think it has to do with the god and goddess Eros and Psyche in love. Either way, shout out Adam Somner for having an interview with John Sandbach and inspiring me to purchase these books, The Circular Temple, because they're actually a series of 2 books. He has all 12 signs of the zodiac split up into 6 signs per book because he created so many symbols. They had to be split up between 2 books. Anyways, I love you all. Thank you for listening to the end and listening to my DJ rant. I am Liz Grace Christie. I hope you have a transformative weekend, and I would really appreciate it if you left me a comment, if you liked this video, and if you went ahead and clicked subscribe. Your interaction with my content helps others reach my content, and it really helps me out. I love doing this. I love reading astrology charts, and I am really happy to be learning the instrument of my voice, and I hope to keep doing it more. You'll hear from me next weekend. Thank you all. Bye.